measure, repeat, test again. I don't know, have you done anything with that, Matt, with the ergometer, looking at power?
Yeah, we have. We'll use the ergometer for a power station, and we'll have them execute 10 poles or 20 poles for a maximum power output, and then you can also get some sense of their endurance and measure up essentially the power per pole over 10 versus the power per pole over 20 or 30, and see how that average changes or how it diminishes over time. I think that's good training and testing.
You know, and Gennadius, if you could speak to this a little bit, because Gennadius has developed some very sophisticated testing equipment where you can measure the swimmer's velocity, simultaneously videotaping what's going on with their technique, and you overlay the velocity graph with the video, right? So you can look at what's happening. But I'm curious to speak to this about power on land versus power in the water.
Yeah. So there are many different ways, as you see here, to use Vasa ergometers or Vasa the swim benches to develop strength. And you see coaches talking always the examples when athletes have been injured, they couldn't swim, so they have been using these ergometers for a longer time, and suddenly you see big improvements in the results. I call it like a new stress on the body. And every time you are delivering new stress on the body, your performances will improve. The swimmer's performances will improve faster. For example, if swimmer trains the same methodology for many years, okay, with the same coach, you're not changing too much, going from one year to other year, third year. So initially, this new stress when swimmers started to train works pretty well with this coach, okay? And then eventually stress diminished because body did not respond, adapts to the stress. That's why changing the stresses in practices as well as changing the stresses from one year to other year or in one season is very important. And by using Vasa equipment, you can change the stresses very easily. So therefore, you see sometimes athletes are training completely different program because of the injury, and suddenly the results improve a lot. Okay? Same was with, remember, the Brian Lochte a couple of years ago. He was injured, he couldn't swim. He hit the land training really strongly, and suddenly he improved a lot in his performances. So because sometimes there is some missing stress that athletes never received before. And that's why, in my opinion, you should always supplement training in the water with Drowland training. And basically, swim-specific training is more important than just general Drowland training. One of the coach mentioned already before that being bulky doesn't mean that you will swim faster, because you may create just more extra drag in the water. Another thing is, Rap has mentioned that we developed so-called swim power equipment, and most of you probably saw already. If you're interested to learn, stop at our booth over here, which records velocity and force instantaneously, 60 times per second, and synchronized with the video in real time. So basically, that opened us, opened many areas where we need to work on. For example, from this test, we learned there are some weaknesses and strengths in the stroke. And everybody is individual. Some athletes have some strengths, some weaknesses. And once we identify the weaknesses, we can work specifically using Drowland equipment such as Vasa benches on the weakness of athlete has. For example, a lot of swimmers have weakness at the beginning of the stroke. Okay? If you look at the velocity curve during the stroke, when athletes begin the pulling, initially it's very low. And it reaches much higher values in the middle and towards the end of the stroke. Okay? So I was thinking why it happens. For example, if you're doing dips on parallel bars in gymnastics, okay? To start the dip, it's pretty hard, okay? In the middle, it's easier. At the end, it's very easy. Why? Because you're recruiting larger body muscles at the end. That's why it's very easy. That's why everybody can finish the stroke strongly, but not everybody can begin the stroke strongly. Okay? Michael Phelps probably is one of the top, the best athlete in the world who begins the stroke very strongly. He has a really good catch. Why he has a catch? Because he connects the body much better. It doesn't mean that he is the strongest physically, he just connects arm to the body better. And if you're able to connect arm to the body, you're developing more power at the beginning of the stroke. So, and therefore, by identifying the weaknesses with the swim power test, we can see what athletes need to focus. And I like the ideas. We are using this also a lot in the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs with swimmers. When athletes are coming, we're identifying the problems that we put on the Vasa bench, and you stay static in this position for maybe not 30 minutes, big shoulder suggested. Maybe just a few minutes, okay, static in this position. So you're connecting much better arms to the body in this position, okay? You stay in this position here, here. So just through your weakness. Don't worry about your strengths. Strengths is always harder to improve, but weaknesses you can improve faster. So therefore, working on your weaknesses, on swimmer's weaknesses, you can reach better results than working on swimmer's strengths in practices. And one of the also drill that you can use over here, and I'm sure that coaches are using, is pulling on the back. Charles, can you demonstrate? Lie down on the back. Yeah, on the back. Grab the handles. And now start the stroke. Okay, begin the stroke on the back. And stop at the beginning, okay? All right, stop here. So now in this position for coach, it's very easy to check. Are you connecting your arms to the body? So I'm pressing here. If it's relaxed, you're not connected, okay? Try to build connection between your arms and your body, your abdominal, through other muscles, okay? And now slowly go to other position, a little bit further, good. Keep arms a little bit straighter. Also notice that straighter arms, you're building better connection. Okay? It doesn't mean that you need to swim straighter arms. In my opinion, you need to bend, but to develop feeling connection, you can develop better with straighter arms. Okay? Next position. Good. So it's much easier already here. Yeah? Once you're passing shoulder line, it's much easier to do. That's why I don't worry about finishing the stroke. I'm more worried about your weakness beginning of the stroke. Okay? Go back again slowly. Again, stop in this position. Okay? Go back again, stop in another position. And then again, go back, stop in this position. Okay, thank you. I don't want to kill you. So anyway, you can be very creative and create many different exercises here, but the goal is, as I told, to work on the weaknesses, not on your strengths. If you have strength in something, you can work very hard and improve just a little bit. Okay? If you have weakness on something, you can work the same time, same amount of work to do, and you improve much more.
Pneumatics?
We got a question from Nort.
No question. Something that I just learned recently, strength trainer, is that you take the ring finger and the small finger and eliminate the pressure on the other side of the hand. What happens is there's a neural pathway that goes up through the armpit, attaches to the larger back muscles, and you can lift more weight and you can pull more, put more power just pressing on the outside of the hand. It definitely engages the large muscles. Otherwise, if you work in this side of your hand, you're working shoulders and arms, which is a lot weaker. So we actually took the Vasa trainer and put individual finger straps on it, and we just leave these first out and just work the back two, and it really makes a difference.
I mean, I think that's another great.
I think it's a great idea, yeah. Yeah, I remember we discussed that with you probably last year or so. Yeah, so I think it's a great idea when you are working even different fingers.
I have to tell a story about Gennadius real quick because it speaks to his genius a little bit. He's been testing the U.S. athletes for many years. He's used the Vasa trainer in conjunction with a dynamometer, right?
Correct.
And he's developed a vibration device that they use for strength training and also for recovery. It goes on and on and on. But I don't know. Michael Phelps was about 14 and a half or 15, and we happened to have a Vasa trainer at a nationals, and one of my employees was there, and he snapped this photograph. Brings it back. It's a photograph of Gennadius standing next to Michael Phelps. Michael on the Vasa trainer, hooked into this dynamometer testing machine that Gennadius was collecting data on. And so there's this picture, this young, skinny Michael Phelps, and my employee said, see this guy in the red shirt? That's Gennadius. He says this kid is probably going to be somebody. And so I have that photo posted up in our office just to remind us, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Michael was, I think, 14 years old at the time.
Yeah.
Charlie, I want you to demonstrate one exercise. Rob, will you put the handles on the weapon?
Yes. And do you want them a little longer? The straps?
Yes, just a little bit longer. And you want to lay on your back.
Well, you're going to want them a little bit longer.
Yeah, one more. Yeah, that's good. I want you to do double on backstroke. Double on back.
See if those are even. One more on that one. Oops, this one got. Sorry.
double arm backstroke.
Over the belts.
Just any way you feel comfortable. Go all the way. Every morning in 91, 92, David Burkhoff did this for 16 minutes. Now, what I want you to do, when I say stop, I want you to stop. Okay, so you want to come down the hill a little bit, and I'm going to ask you to stop. Come more, stop, stop. Now, real slow, right knee to your stomach, pull it in. And now, stretch it out. Now the other. Keep going, ride a bike, go real, that's too fast. There's Granada's vibration machine right there. Keep going.